Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Chris, for having us. And hopefully you're in the right place. We are going to talk about hashtag SUNY Students Lead, lessons learned from building a system-wide student leadership program in a pandemic. Okay. And what we're going to do is we'll do some quick introductions, and then we will talk a little bit about the SAIL Institute for those of you who aren't familiar with us and our offerings. And then we're going to get into what the Student Leadership Academy is. And we'll leave some time at the end for questions, but if you do have questions during and you want to put them in the chat, feel free. We are happy to answer them as they come in. So I'm Marissa McCasty. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the Leadership Development Manager for the SUNY SAIL Institute. And prior to coming to SAIL, I worked in the Office of Applied Learning at SUNY System, helping to create experiential education opportunities for students across the system. And I bring that interest and passion to the SUNY SAIL Institute as I manage the student leadership piece of the Institute. I'll turn it over to Joyce.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joyce Akimola. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm the graduate assistant at SUNY SAIL and current student at UAlbany's Public Administration program. Welcome.
Great, thank you. And we just wanted to learn a little bit about you and why you're here and what about this presentation interested you. So if you could place in the chat what you're looking to learn and get out of today's session. Don't all chat at once. If some folks want to unmute themselves, feel free to do that as well.
Yep, so if folks could put in the chat maybe what they're interested in learning, or just say hello so we know you're all there.
Yep.
And a wave.
I know, it's that time of day.
It is. I mean, I'm a little zoning out myself, but sometimes you just have to ask twice. You have to ask twice sometimes, that's all.
Yes.
So there's one right here by Jared. Tips for building student leadership networks and leadership networks in general, particularly diversity-oriented leadership.
Great.
And Anna Mary is interested in learning new information. Lisa, just to find out more about SAIL and the Student Leadership Academy. Okay.
Perfect. Well, we can help with that. Thank you for putting those in the chat. Let's see here. Okay. So we want to start off with why, what is our purpose for the SAIL Institute? And the SAIL Institute was started to help to develop and advance the understanding of the next generation of leaders in higher education. So that's what we do at the SAIL Institute. We provide leadership development programming for faculty, staff, and students across the system. And we do that with our SAIL team. As you can see, we have a lot of people who help us to make that dream a reality. The first person I want to point out is Dr. Jason Lane. He is our founding executive director. And the SAIL Institute was really his vision to bring it to what it is today. We also have Carolyn Matiski, who's our director of the SAIL Institute and organizational development. You know us already, and the following people that you see here on the screen are all of our SAIL fellows, our campus and strategic leadership partners, and they bring their expertise to all of our SAIL programs that we do throughout the system, different workshops and trainings that you hear about. Just some quick notes about our SUNY SAIL signature programs. We have a few going on, and those are our Winter Leadership Virtual Academy. It's the first time that we are going virtual with this. So it's going to be on the topic of leading culturally intelligent and inclusive campuses. We did have that topic for the last Winter Leadership retreat, and it was a success. And especially now with everything going on with racial injustice and just the pandemic and just all of those things, it's really very timely for us to continue with this topic. We have our Executive Leadership Academy, our Summer Leadership Retreat, and then we also have our specified leadership academies. So we have our Department Chair Academy, our Hispanic Leadership Institute, our Chief Information Officer Leadership Academy, and our Business Officers Leadership Academy.
So this right here is a picture of our CIO Leadership Academy class of 2020. This is actually pretty memorable to us too, because it was our first program to go virtual during this pandemic. We were able to have a successful transition. We kept participants engaged through breakout sessions, trivia games, and participants were also able to present their end of the program applied learning project with no problems.
We also have our SUNY 360, which is a tool that helps you to obtain data on your leadership style and what your team has as far as feedback regarding your leadership style. And it opens the floor for dialogue on leading and leadership to be able to have those conversations that can be a little bit tricky. We do have folks at SAIL that will guide you with next steps on your action plan. So it's a really good tool. If you have any questions about the 360, feel free to reach out to us. We also have a few new programs this semester. We have our Inclusive Citizen Leaders Certificate Program, and the program is to help leaders be more civilly involved, and there's a fun component with this. The students, so faculty and staff can bring a student with them in order to go through this certificate program. And so it's a really important opportunity for students to see what is happening from a faculty and staff lens, but also to lend their voice to empower our higher ed leaders.
So the Mindful Leader Certificate Program is one of our newly created programs this season with the help of mindfulness experts. So participants are able to earn a Mindful Leader badge after a successful completion of these 3 Blackboard courses and pertaining to the topic of mindfulness. And our Leaders Learning Live series, every third Thursday of the month, we offer live online leadership and development webinars for faculty, staff, and more. These are all at no cost, and previous recordings are available on our SUNY SAIL webinar page. And I'll turn it over to Marissa to talk about the history of the Student Leadership Academy.
Thank you. So just some background on what our student leadership program was in the past. It was originally a 3-day in-person experience. It was around early June. And we used to partner with Common Purpose, which is an organization outside of the UK, to facilitate cultural intelligence programming. It usually happened in New York City. Depending on the year, it could move around, but generally speaking, it was in New York City. We had 2 summers ago, we had about 9 campuses participating. And as you can see, those are the campuses that participated in that year. But we wanted to capitalize on all of the expertise that we have in our huge system here at SUNY. And we wanted to, after taking a look at our previous program, we needed to really, we really needed to hone in on what we can do within our system. So we created an in-house program that originally was supposed to take place in this last June. And in order to do this, we enlisted the help of a design team And they were very helpful in creating what would be this, this in-person summer experience for students. Just when we were all set with what the curriculum would look like and everything was good to go, COVID hit, and we needed to quickly refocus, and plan what the academy would look like in a virtual environment. So we stuck with the summer timeline for it. And as we were doing the marketing and promotion of the academy, we realized that students weren't ready to participate in the academy. They had a lot of other things going on, and we really had to listen to the campuses and the students as far as that goes. So we switched the academy to be a fall semester program, and we have this this lovely GIF here, the cha-cha slide. If any of you are familiar, there are a few words in the cha-cha slide where it's like reverse, and that was the definition of how we felt in this process. So we added that GIF for you. And like I had mentioned, we had a design team. They were instrumental in really giving us feedback about what the program should look like and what the curriculum should be, the topics, things that the students would be interested in learning. And so you may know some people that are on the design team that you can see on the screen here. We also wanted it to be it was also very important to us to have students on the design team. So as you can see, we had our former graduate student, Maya Rudolph, and Joyce, who has also served on the design team. And we created a social media campaign as a way to keep the conversation going throughout the pandemic, and to really give students a voice as to what they were doing in terms of leadership through this pandemic. So we used the hashtag SUNY Students Lead, which we still do for our student programming. And we asked them how have you shown leadership and what have you admired in others' leadership through the pandemic? We did this through we partnered with the National Intern Day and the Applied Learning Office for this. And we did see the most success on National Intern Day because it's well recognized. And as we all know, internships are definitely student leadership. So it was nice to be able to partner and get the word out. We also worked with our communications office to spread the word. So throughout our Student Leadership Academy, we are engaging students virtually in many different ways. It's still happening, very much so. We had our first session on September 18th. So we have our next session coming up on October 26th. But we did it through different Flipgrid introduction videos, LinkedIn weekly wondering questions, interactive breakouts, different communications and marketing, engaging our alumni, and using post-seminar surveys after each seminar that we host, and also incorporating a digital badge at the completion of the academy. So the SUNY Student Leadership Academy, the new and improved, is a no-cost virtual student leadership academy, which I'll talk about the impacts on access in a minute, but each campus can send up to 2 students per campus, and the academy consists of 7 2-hour Zoom seminars throughout the fall semester. They happen on various Fridays and Mondays throughout the fall semester. And we have 47 students from 27 SUNY campuses who will graduate the academy on December 4th, which is very exciting. We also have, for the participating campuses, each participating campus has a campus liaison that we've been working very closely with and would not be able to have a successful program without. And if your campus is not participating, but you would like to have your students have this opportunity, you can consider identifying a liaison to get involved next year. all of the students had to go through a nomination process. So they submitted an application, and then their campus liaison and a team of reviewers reviewed the nominations, and from those nominations selected up to two students per campus. The students are from all different degree levels, from first year to doctoral students. They're full-time, they're part-time, they're non-traditional students, they're students from underrepresented backgrounds. So we have a really nice mix of students in this cohort. We also needed to decide, what do we want the students to get out of this? And a big focus of the Academy is to have a better understanding of their own cultures and identities as they relate to their peers, community, and the world, to expand their personal and professional network. And we'll talk about how LinkedIn came in handy for that. And then how to learn and flex storytelling and be able to articulate their story to future hiring managers, which is really a very, that was a very important thing that the students wanted to learn, is to be able to articulate what they, articulate their story to future hiring managers. So this is just a quick snapshot of all of our programs that we offer throughout the fall semester. And like I said, the design team worked hard to figure out what topics would be the most relevant and interesting to the students. And we have completed up to the power of mentoring, and we'll have our next mentoring check-in this Monday coming up. The first session was on setting yourself up for success in college, and we had two fantastic speakers. We had Candy Griffin-Jenkins from SUNY System, and we had Dr. Tara Jabbar-Giambra from Medaille College, who did a wonderful job speaking about tools and resources that you need to have in college, but then also the importance of self-care and why we need to take care of ourselves before we can take care of other people. And as you can see, the students really got a lot out of it. Quoting both of the speakers, Candy made two statements: be your own superhero and strength is a choice. This resonated with me when I thought about the trials and tribulations that the COVID pandemic has caused. For our second session, we had a Know Yourself to Lead Others, which was around identity development. And we had the mayor of Albany, Kathy Sheehan, come and welcome the students. We also had two SUNY alum. We had Ben Kennard, who's a business owner. He owns his own chocolate company, 5 North Chocolate Company. And we had Deanna Schneider, who works in the New York State Senate. Ben is a Geneseo alum, and Deanna is a Stony Brook alum. And we also had Dr. Martha Aslin, who is the Director of Leadership and Service at UAlbany. So they all brought a fantastic pieces of advice. As you can see, the students were quoting them and took some of their pieces of advice to heart. So the next session that we offered was the power of mentoring, and this was a great session. We had 7 panelists who talked about the impact of mentoring on their own lives, because as an assignment in the academy, the students identify their own mentor. We give them tools and resources in which to do so, templates that they can use to ask a potential mentor to serve as a mentor to them. And it was nice because some of the panelists had actually mentored the other panelists, so it was nice to see that relationship. And here are some quotes from the students. They really enjoyed this session, and it was nice to see that in the beginning there was a sense of a little bit of overwhelming, intimidated, how am I supposed to ask for a mentor? And then at the end of it, all of the students felt like there were enough tools that they could really go out and reach out to somebody. So that was really helpful. And I will turn over to Joyce to talk about the other ways that we engaged students.
Yeah, so one of the ways we engage students, we introduced them to flipgrid.com, where they made short introduction videos. We felt that this was a pretty good way of putting a face and personality to each student as they introduce themselves, as opposed to a text or introduction. And we had a pretty good turnout with 31 responses from students. And for the LinkedIn group, we made our own private LinkedIn group with the students. We created this to provide a space for students to interact with fellow members of their cohort outside of class and let them know that the conversation never stops. We have a weekly wondering question, which are usually on topics pertaining to the academy and other related leadership topics. We also believe that this would get them comfortable with using LinkedIn and be able to connect with people that could help them with their career path. And it proved to be pretty helpful in their search for a mentor. And for alumni engagement, we reached out to former students from our previous student leadership program and even SUNY alumni, just to speak to our current students about their leadership journeys and offer advice to them. And from their survey responses, like one right here, you can see that they really value having a perspective from a SUNY alumni.
And also a huge part of this is the accessibility and inclusion piece. Like we had mentioned, we decided to listen to the campuses about the financial hardships that were happening across the system. And in order to open the doors to let students who wouldn't normally be able to participate, we felt that having a no-cost program was a way to do this, and it proved to be effective. We, as you saw in past 2 summers, we had 9 campuses, but now for this academy, we have 27 campuses participating, with almost half of those people, or half of those campuses, being community colleges, which is huge. So we also thought about inclusion with our registration questions that we asked. We asked the students their pronouns so that we can make a culture of inclusion for everyone. And we also asked them about any sort of accommodations that they needed. And we asked them about consent for pictures, for press releases, and different announcements that we would make. We also, from those registration questions, we found that there was a need for live captioning. And this was really, it was a kind of a difficult task, but we found a software that worked for us. And this was really important because not only would it be helpful to the students that require an accommodation like this, but it also allows people who might not necessarily disclose that on a registration application to be able to have that. So the last thing I wanted to say about the inclusion piece is that we encouraged, but we didn't require the students to turn on their cameras. In the very first session, we had, I would say, Joyce, almost everybody, right? Turning on their camera, and they were so engaged in the chat as well. And a few of the students actually commented about how engaged everybody was and supportive via the chat. And so I say this because we all are going through different things right now, and we don't necessarily know what everyone's home life is like and what sort of resources that they have with their computer. So being open to being flexible on that piece is really important for access and inclusion. Some lessons learned, although we're not finished yet with the Student Leadership Academy, some lessons learned and things to consider for future programs would be definitely debriefing with the campus liaisons design team and looking at the student survey feedback. All of these stakeholders are so important in making the academy what it is. So definitely having that time to talk about what we can improve on and what worked well. Also adding sessions. So 12 to 2, 2-hour sessions, they go by really quickly. So maybe adding some sessions to the academy and placing a deeper focus or making certain sessions longer on certain impactful topics. Looking at the timing of the sessions, we do offer a 5-minute break in between, but which I do think that the students really enjoy, stretching, doing whatever they need to do, but keeping that in mind for the planning of the next one. Overall, and the overall academy timeline, are we still going to keep it in fall? Are we going to do another spring one? Are we going to move it to the summertime? And what is best for the students and their schedules? And then possibly incorporating an applied learning project or other project-based assignments. We do have the identifying mentor assignment, but we are looking at adding something more to that. And the last lesson learned is just extending grace and patience in this time. Everyone's going through a lot, and being able to shift and remold what certain things look like requires definite patience. And also recognizing the people that made this program what it is and the time that it took them to help us when they are also going through a lot. So our vision for next year is to have each SUNY campus support at least 2 students to attend the 2021 Student Leadership Academy. And I do feel like we can definitely get there, and it's about getting the word out. And I do think that the students who went through this academy being able to tell their story and how much they enjoyed it will help us do that. So before we get into this, I wanted to open it up for any sort of questions that you all might have about the academy or anything like that.
Any questions for Marissa and Joyce? Let's see any in the chat. I actually was curious, Marissa. I mean, I know that's a great goal to have 2 every campus. I was wondering, and I apologize if you said this and I just missed it, but how you're recruiting participants in the program on the campuses. Are you working with like student affairs folks? Are you working with faculty? Are you like, how are you getting the word out? Just.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So our campus liaisons, so we reached out for this academy. We reached out to many different groups, all of the groups that you said. So student affairs groups, whether that be a student leadership department, whether that be residence life. We also reached out to the folks in the opportunity programs area, different faculty. There are some liaisons that are faculty members within a department, like let's say social work, that they thought that their students would be great for this. So they agreed to serve as a liaison. So really the liaisons come from all different backgrounds. And they have helped us very much so with getting the word out and promoting it to their students, to answer any sort of questions that the students may have about it. And so that we wouldn't be able to have those 47 students without their help.
So you see, there's a couple of questions in the chat. Do you see
Yeah,
that?
okay. I can read it for you, Marissa. So do you tie in feedback from employers on what is needed in terms of leadership in different careers? Does leadership vary by field, or leadership training applies broadly?
That's a great question. Yeah. So we, being from the applied learning world before coming to SAIL, that is, and definitely having that background is helpful to know what employers are looking for in terms of what skills that they need to have to be successful. And I would like to, for future programs, I would like to get maybe like a focus group, an employer focus group, and just ask them some of those questions so that it can help us to create, to really, be able to give students the skills that they need, that the employers are looking for? That's a really great question. We do have folks on the design team who have experience with employers, so they, when we are creating the curriculum, they do incorporate their feedback from their experiences. But I think a more intentional way to do that would be something like a focus group, or even just a survey for certain employers, so that we can create that. Thank you, Chris, for that suggestion. That's great.
And the other one, how do we find out if our institutions already have a liaison? I can answer that. Yeah, on our student leadership page, we actually have an Excel sheet, and it's like live tracking. So you can see the current liaisons associated with which campus.
Thank you, Joyce. Yeah, we will in our slide, and we can also put it in the chat too, but it's sunysail.org, and then you can go to the student leadership tab, and it'll be able to show you that. Let's see, there's another question.
During this time, are the Zoom presentations registered and made available to all students? Probably other students might benefit from the presentations, even if they are not in the program.
That's another good one. Yeah, we record them so the students are able to, so in order to be awarded with the digital badge for the academy, they have to participate in at least 6 out of the 7 sessions, which also means that they have to fill out a survey, a post-seminar survey for each of the sessions that they participated in. And if for some reason the student is not able to participate in the session, they can view the recording for that session. And we don't have it available to all students because we do get personal on some things, and in order to maintain that community and be able to really strengthen that cohort of students, we have it exclusively for them. Anyone who misses a session within the academy can view the session later, but we don't share it out in the same way that we would, let's say, a Leaders Learning Live webinar. These are great.
Do you know how many campuses have leadership minors or programs? I know they were looking at it at Brockport when I was there. I don't know if they ever landed on one, but you know, they had a significant, yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head, but I will say that the SUNY program search, there's a way to look up different majors at each campus and different minors, and I can get the link for you to share out with everybody. But essentially, you would just put in leadership, and any campus that has something related to leadership should come up. I've used that for different majors before, biology or whatever the case may be. So I can get the link for you.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it might be another opportunity to recruit students too, that way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, that's a great point.
Well, we are pretty much out of time, so thank you both.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
And we will be posting the recording on the website shortly.
Okay, great.
As soon as, well, Michaela will be.
I don't know if we have another minute to just ask in the chat, or for people to put in the chat what training solutions that they have implemented in the virtual environment?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, we just I'm gonna give Chris co-hosting duties because he's gonna be in the session next. But yeah, sure.
Okay.
While we do that, I'm just gonna stop the recording though, so I don't forget.
Okay.
But if anybody has any, when you say training solutions, you mean like
things like like Flipgrid or something that helps to build community. Hopefully it was helpful for you all, the tools that we used. I don't know if anyone has heard of Flipgrid or has used it before.